Hi, welcome into my channel. This channel is about astronomy. In this video I will talk about the parallax. The parallax is a method to find out the distance at the stars, says a girl I will show to you, but they calculated the distance at the planets with this. So listen, this girl first is from an YouTube channel. This is the way I made my video to show to you some examples. So I cut some pieces from other guys from YouTube. So listen, this about the parallax, the way how you measure the distance at the star, she says. Okay, so listen.
The same thing happens as the Earth moves around the Sun. Over the course of a year, some stars appear to move a very small amount relative to other stars. Like the trees along the side of the road, these stars are just closer than those that don't seem to move. Actually, all stars are moving through space, but much more slowly than parallax, so we don't notice. Now, if we measure how much a star moves when the Earth does one complete trip around the Sun, we can use this to work out this angle, called the parallax angle. If we observe a star when the Earth is at one spot in its orbit, and then wait 6 months for the Earth to move around the Sun to the opposite point along its orbit and observe the star again, we can measure the parallax angle. Since we already know the distance from the Earth to the Sun, we can now use this parallax angle and some trigonometry to work out exactly how far away the star is. This is really useful because it allows us to calculate the distance to nearby stars very accurately. This can then be used to check the distance measured by different methods to even more distant objects out in space.
So, after you heard that, maybe you understood, maybe not. But what I'm telling you in my channel, that the Big Bang is false and they do not know the distance are the stars. So somebody asked me for the last video, I discovered that the Big Bang is false. So some proofs. But you must understand what their proofs, because their proofs are crazy, okay? So now you must understand what that girl is saying. If you want to calculate a triangle, you must have some pieces to calculate it. You must know two angles to find out another one. You cannot have you have some relation in a triangle, so you cannot calculate what do you want, when do you want, okay? So she says that somehow if the earth is moves like this, you have this, okay, and you find out an angle of the, listen another time, so listen another time.
The same thing happens as the Earth moves around the Sun. Over the course of a year, some stars appear to move a very small amount relative to other stars. Like the trees along the side of the road, these stars are just closer than those that don't seem to move. Actually, all stars are moving through space, but much more slowly than parallax, so we don't notice. Now, if we measure how much a star moves when the Earth does one complete trip around the Sun, we can use this to work out this angle, called the parallax angle. If we observe a star when the Earth is at one spot in its orbit, and then wait 6 months for the Earth to move around the Sun to the opposite point along its orbit and observe the star again, we can measure the parallax angle. Since we already know the distance from the Earth to the Sun, we can now use this parallax angle and some trigonometry to work out exactly how far away the star is. This is really useful because it allows us to calculate the distance to nearby stars very accurately. This can then be used to check the distance measured by different methods to even more distant objects out in space.
So I want to tell you in this channel that they do not have any method to calculate the distances at the stars. The orbits of the planets were calculated in 1700s and it only weren't proved. That if they use this method, okay, so now you take them from catalogs. And when the NASA flies with the rocket ships, I'm telling you, maybe you all will understand that you are stupid. When NASA flies with rockets, the rockets are inventions. Why do you cannot go in space? You do not have 13 billion gallons of gases and kerosene and methane gas and oxygen liquid. You do not have, okay? But this is the way how they go in space. They do not employ the mathematics only to fool you, okay? So they calculated the orbits of the planets, Mars, Venus. They were already calculated. You must have, you must have for to complete a triangle information some things. You must have two angles, no another one, three, because if you know the triangle has 180 degrees and things like this, but you cannot calculate from a single angle all the angles. Or if you have AB, from AB, like dimension of the triangle, to calculate the other two, BC and AC, you cannot. You must have a number of information. So even though the formula exists, you do not have it. So I'm telling you, why didn't have until 1900s the correct way of measuring the distance are the stars. Why? Because the stars do not move. 90% of them you can calculate maybe only when the another moves. So this parallax method that this girl is saying was used to calculate the distance because you have a supplementary triangles. The planets themselves move. Okay, so you have supplementary informations. Okay, you can have another figures, so another triangles and things like this, and you add some information. So if you know the high school mathematics, you understand what I'm telling you. But you must believe this, that they lied with the stars. The stars do not move. So now you must understand that they do not have any correct way to calculating the distance of the stars. If this was so this simple, why until Hubble nobody calculated the distance towards the stars? They were great mathematicians. Einstein took that spherical mathematics from a mathematicians. So they already did a trigonometry. They already, why they could not calculate the distance until 1900s? Because there was not sufficient information. You cannot have only a side of the triangle and you infer the other two ones. So this girl is saying, if you listen, you go around the sun and you obtain like this side of a triangle. You know that the star is in the tip of the triangle, but you can have a single side and you infer the other two sides, and this one that it is perpendicular. So you take two measurements with some angle that you made. You observe the angle. You'll put it like here, and you'll put it like here, and then you go and on the same line, on the same side of the triangle you want to find, and you have some perpendicular one, and you have two triangles in this way. You can play with this how do you want, because until 1900s they did not know how to calculate the distance or the stars, because you do not have sufficient information. So how they calculated the distances of the stars? Through lies, my friends. We all know. So this is the way I make my videos. I'm saying coffee science. I have always tea or a coffee. This is a milk coffee. So listen another time, this girl.
The same thing happens as the Earth moves around the Sun. Over the course of a year, some stars appear to move a very small amount relative to other stars. Like the trees along the side of the road, these stars are just closer than those that don't seem to move. Actually, all stars are moving through space, but much more slowly than parallax, so we don't notice. Now, if we measure how much a star moves when the Earth does one complete trip around the Sun, we can use this to work out this angle, called the parallax angle. If we observe a star when the Earth is at one spot in its orbit, and then wait 6 months for the Earth to move around the Sun to the opposite point along its orbit and observe the star again, we can measure the parallax angle. Since we already know the distance from the Earth to the Sun, we can now use this parallax angle and some trigonometry to work out exactly how far away the star is. This is really useful because it allows us to calculate the distance to nearby stars very accurately. This can then be used to check the distance measured by different methods to even more distant objects out in space.
So now you must understand they do not have the parallax, okay? In this triangulation stuff was used in 1700s for the planets. But the planets move themselves. So in the tip of the triangle that you must make, the planets themselves move. Many planets. So now you can make somehow. They did it in 1700s, okay? But at the start you cannot make. But if you made this, you understand that if you have less days, if you know supplementary, they made some like from an equation, a constant or constant. You have inside in front of you something and it moves like this, and they make like a constant. They simply put it in an equation. In this way you can calculate what do you want, what do you want, when do you want. For in mathematics, for you to infer something, you must respect the condition of mathematics. You have the formulas, but if you put what you want, I give you like, tell me what's the triangle. I have only one side. Let's say 1,000,000 kilometers, 1,000,000 miles. You tell me what's the triangle. You are believing that you are this stupid. That's why. So I give you 1,000,000 kilometers. You tell me what's the triangle. You see what crazy is the question? Because I can make a triangle that go steep like this, another one from the same. So you must have supplementary data to infer the whole connection in a triangle. So even you have a triangle, you do not have, you understand? So they put then like this wobbling. How did they want it? And in this way were calculating. But I'm telling you, can you infer from this a bigger distance than one day with the speed of light? Because the circle has 360 degrees from the day or one day. But if you want to falsify mathematics, how do you want? So then in the 1900s, Hubble came. They did not knew what big is the universe, and they were still a sphere, the universe. But the universe is a lie. I'm telling you that is a lie. The world is a lie, because we cannot see the universe. The God do not spoke only once in the Bible. He said, let there be light. Let there be like that. There is not one unique spoken sentence. This is like to fight, like from Latin, to fight with the Bible. But you do not understand. He spoke many times. Universe means a single verse, like in a poem. If you do not know Latin, like in the like all guys knew, unique and verse, a unique verse. But God spoke many times. Let there be light. Let there be animals. Many times he spoke. This was like a philosophical even trick to demonstrate that a single cause can produce anything. And it's the same word that tricks. So, but this universe in the Einstein times was a sphere, and they did not knew the dimensions. They did not knew. In Einstein times, that you brag that he resolved all the universe with the stupid physics that it has, false physics. In Einstein time, he did not knew the distances of the stars, because you cannot calculate, you cannot make the parallax. If a body is static, you cannot make it, okay? So now, from ancient times, they knew that the planets were from in spheres. Ptolemy said that our universe, how do you say, what you observe stars is a sphere, and the ancient guys put the planets on spheres. They knew 7 planets already. So in a one sphere moved a planet because they were saying that you cannot put it in a single circle. The movement is more complicated. And another circle was for another planet, so they knew this. So in the 1700s, they calculated all the distances of the planets, and now they're pretending that they only like made that finer calculation for one to take the PhD diplomas. If they lie, they do not believe that they lied, but they do not improve on the methods. So, but the stars is another problem. The stars do not move, and they did not move until Hubble lied that Andromeda moves, and they do not move still today. So you cannot have any calculation. So then from what do you have the distance of the stars? From this Hubble bullshit that he said that Andromeda is going away from us, and now all of you said Andromeda is approaching. From this you calculate the distance, because the parallax method you cannot apply it. So I'm telling you how the distances are, the stars are. They are given to take them PhDs, they are lied. And you can bring all the mathematicians from China, from all the Asia, India and Japan and Greece and Europe and all the countries and African countries. They cannot calculate this because you cannot have from a single line a triangle. Okay, so now they are saying that from this Doppler, stupid Hubble Doppler, they calculated the receding speed. So now you can have 2 triangles. So you have this theta from Hubble. So now you can put, because you have 2 triangles. So no, if you have, you know, so it goes from here to here, and now you have these lights and standard lights. Like you have an equation, but it's stupid, it's false, And I'm telling you, our galaxies, everything that we can see, it's a sphere from ancient time. And they're falsified. If there be a spiral, you must see 3-4 bands. If you live in a spiral, you must see 3-4 bands constantly. You will only have one, a Milky Way belt. So our galaxy is a sphere, I'm telling you. And what you are calling galaxies are like this. Putting clouds. Imagine this stuff putting clouds. Neon gases. I'm showing to you from Webb. They made a spectroscopy, even though it's somehow incorrect, like in imperfect universal manner, maybe in general manner. But they do a spectroscopy and you see neon gases. If you do not know, gases produce colors. So you have this and put in some clouds and you ignite it with electricity. This is the way the galaxies are. They are not gravitational system with stars and planets and other stars and planets and now they are not. They are like this. And in the all of galaxies are small and they are inside our galaxy. I've told you they do not have any method to calculate the distance of the stars. I've told you. So if you do not believe me, if your children in the old times, they did not did 12 years of school. They did not did this. René Descartes even, or all these guys, Immanuel Kant, that he knew all the science that it was and philosophy. So now they are tricking you. They take 12 years from your life and then you say that's stupid because you are deserving to be stupid if you believe them. For 2 guys take their PhD, they trick the entire planet and made you understand that it is like a horror movie. In all the China, 1 billion people, there are a million of professors. You understand that what are the level of the professor are? They do not know how to calculate a simple triangle. And to come and say you do not have sufficient data to make a coherent calculation for a triangle in this way. So you do not understand the level, because it is based on engineering science in Japan and everywhere. So you believe that I'm lying to you. I discovered the Big Bang is false. Our galaxy is not a spiral, it is a small sphere from Pluto. So Voyager spacecraft is near the stars. If you have a camera, they will film the stars from close. One day with the speed of light, you reach the stars. From there, you go through black clouds, dark clouds. You can see in the image, and the stars are pulled like that. And they're not in the early stage of forming and in current day stars. What you can see in this, and I cut for you, and I made in my a few days ago I made a screen capture, and I let you see a music. There's matter, cloud matter, carbon, hydrogen gases, and result in burning matter and hydrogen, oxygen. And you can see this in the spectroscopy if you look carefully at the Webb space telescope. Hydrogen, oxygen, all over the place. That black stuff that is not void was invented in 1600. There's hydrogen, oxygen, in many forms, in a vapor like a fog, and even liquid, because hydrogen is liquid on some pressure and condition, minus 200 helium, and the stars are put in there, and the galaxies are like this, simply like this, and it's pulled like this, like a flower of light. Somebody says in 300s he knew. A guy said that the galaxies are like flowers of light, stars, flowers of light. So like this, so from then on begins the totality, the cosmos. But you must pass through these black clouds one day with the speed of light, through the clouds, and you reach light and what it is beyond our galaxy. That is a sphere. But you are saying that I'm crazy, but if you are all these planet small children, you can make a triangle for a simple side and a line. So now you put all the angles that you want, all the distances that you want, and all the mathematics that you want, and you have everything that you want. But it is matter. There's no curing mathematics, my friends. This is lies for suckers. But I've told you, okay? So this is the level of science from Europe, Asia, America, all over the place. If you do not believe me, so the Big Bang is false, the stars are close. Voyager spacecraft is near there maybe only 20 years, and you can see the stars from close, from Voyager. So if you make something similar, it flies with 600 6,000 kilometers, 6,000 kilometers per hour. If you put a little bit in this, and you can make this Horizon spacecraft beat this, okay? So you can make a bigger speed. You reach the stars 50 years, 50 years. You reach there, near them. So I have told you. Goodbye. God bless. This is the way I made my video. Coffee Science Parallax Children's Stories. Goodbye.